Wow! How's everybody doing out there? Yes, sir. We are back. Let's Talk with Stanley Doucette is live at you again. How's everybody doing? I hope everybody is having an amazing day. Listen, I know for a fact this particular podcast is something everyone needs, not just a couple, but everyone needs. Today, we're going to be talking about understanding your credit. Listen, I have one of the most influential people in all of the world. He is here with us today to share some information about credit you would not even understand. Listen, if you were like me, I've understood both sides of the fence. I understood when I was in the hood. I also understood when I got a little change. But all of it will matter when it comes to credit. I promise you, this particular podcast is something you need to go ahead on and put in your phone, save it, listen to it again, and again. I have one of the utmost people in all of credit. Yes, I went and dug into my black book for y'all on this one. This is going to be absolutely amazing when we're talking about it. But first, y'all know how we do it. Let's get these commercials out the way so we could get right on into this podcast, because this is one of those ones I have so many questions, so I want to make sure that we're where we're supposed to go. So for all of you guys that are logging in right now, except for the ones that are literally driving. If you're driving, you're operating a crane or something like that, don't do what I'm about to say to do. Pay attention to what you're doing, right? But for everybody else that's sitting on the sofa listening, or you're just washing dishes or whatever, do me a favor. Text somebody, tell somebody, call somebody, and let them know Let's Talk with Stanley Doucette is on the radio and we riding right now. Get them on this podcast right now. For all of my people that are listening into Germany, all of my people that are in South Africa, all of my people that are in England, all of my people that's in Canada, listen, guys, call your people and let them know this is going to be something, if you want to do business in America, you really want to pay attention to. This is going to be powerful. Now, go to Let's Talk with StanleyDoucette.com. You can get all of my previous podcasts there. Go to all of my social media, support me, subscribe, like, follow, share, all of those wonderful things that are there, from Facebook to Twitter to Instagram to even LinkedIn. I'm on, guys. We are everywhere. We're literally everywhere. So family, listen, y'all know how we do it. If you have a question, or if you want to get in touch with my guests, or if you want to be on a podcast, or if you just have some questions in general, shoot me an email at letstalkwithstanleyd@gmail.com. That's LETSTALKWITHSTANLEY, as in David, @gmail.com. Go ahead and shoot it to me now, and we'll go ahead and review those and begin to see what we need to do to assist you in any capacity we can. All right. So now that all of the commercials are out the way, drum roll, please. The man of the hour, one of my brothers. Let me explain this to you guys. This gentleman has over 25 plus years of experience in the financial service industry. Yes, I said over 25 years. That's over a quarter of a century he's been doing this. Right now, he's currently, listen to this. I want to read this because I don't even want to mess this up. This is how important this is. The credit reporting director with Associate Credit Unions. Yes, that's right. I want to say that again. He also compliance issues with over 20 credit unions. He's a credit guru, as I like to call it. He's monitoring all credit disputes and so much more. Guys, he's nationally accredited. He's certified. He's doing big things. So y'all do me a favor and welcome to Let's Talk with Stanley Doucette for the first time, but definitely not the last time. My brother, my friend, Daryl Craig. Brother Craig, what's going on, man?
Oh, what's going on? I'm not worthy of this introduction, man.
Yes,
I'm
sir.
really not worthy of this introduction. I hope I live up to the hype, brother.
Man,
But
listen.
before we get started, I just want to thank you personally for the invitation on your podcast. We get a chance to, educate all of your viewers and or listeners. And I just want to thank you for this opportunity, my brother.
Man, I certainly appreciate you. Listen, some of y'all don't know, he's originally from Birmingham, Alabama. He went to Alabama State. He went to a HBCU. He in a SWAC with me, baby. That's right. He in a SWAC with me. But we ain't gonna go there today. I just want to let some of y'all haters out there know where we coming from. This how we roll, baby. This how we roll. Craig, how you doing, man? Darryl, how are you today, brother? First of all,
I'm doing well. I'm doing real well, man. Just to kind of introduce myself here to your listening audience. As you mentioned, I'm Darryl Craig. I'm originally from Birmingham, Alabama. Graduated from Alabama State University in the historic city of Montgomery, Alabama.
Yes, sir.
There you go. Have over 25 years of experience in the financial services arena with Associated Credit Union. Currently, I handle all of the credit disputes, credit inquiries, financial portfolios, as well as compliance issues for the entire credit union, which encompasses about 18 branches within the city of Atlanta. And we also have 2 branches in the city of Augusta, Georgia.
Okay.
So in addition to that, it's a running joke at the credit union is that, hey, man, you're the most important person here at Associated Credit Union because you can change. You're the only person that can change our credit. So I don't know about all of that, but it's a responsibility that is really relegated to just one individual because of the sensitive nature that you have with it. So again, I'm blessed to be here. I'm blessed to, share all this information with your audience.
Man, I certainly appreciate it. Listen, before I get into that, I want to ask this. How exactly, if we go back, we just kind of roll back, how exactly did you get into the financial services arena? And then we'll get into the credit stuff. But how exactly did you get into those financial services arena?
Well, I started actually out of college working for the bank. I worked for Wells Fargo for years. At that time, it was First Atlanta. I believe the old First Atlanta. If people remember that, some of your audiences. But then, of course, it switched over to Wells Fargo. So I took an interest in it. I majored in business administration at Alabama State University. So I saw it as a way here to, I was in asset recovery and for years. And I took a liking to it because I was able to help and empower people. So I enjoyed that aspect of it more so than anything.
Okay. Now that's incredible. One of the things I like to do is empower as well. Hence, why we're doing a podcast. I know a lot of times we talk about an incredible amount of things, but I don't think right now there's nothing more important to talk about in terms of somebody personal or business in terms of credit overall. So, let's dig into this massive behemoth called credit. So what is credit?
Well, credit is basically a simple term. I use my terminology, not Webster. Is basically the ability to borrow money for assets or goods with the understanding that you'll pay it back later at a specific date or time. That's basically it in a nutshell. Okay, pretty much. Why is it important too? That's the next question. Why is credit important? That's right. I want your listeners to really listen. 4 reasons why it's important.
Okay.
Number 1, your credit score will determine if you can obtain a mortgage.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Number 2, if you obtain that mortgage, your credit score will determine how much you pay. You can save thousands of dollars here as far as interest based upon your credit or credit score. Number 3, your credit score can determine, how much you pay for a car loan. Okay. And number 4 is actually 5, but number 4, your credit score will determine whether you denied a loan or approved for a loan.
Right.
And number 5, and most people don't know this, your credit score may determine whether or not you gain employment or not.
That's right. That's right.
So,
Let me kind of roll back just 1 second while you're saying that. Just give people a brief understanding of the actual credit score, because I don't want to take for granted people's like, oh, what is credit score? He's so important. But no, seriously, I understand that let me just tell this story. Now, once upon a time, my credit was real bad.
right.
Right? I didn't understand how bad it could get. So it got real bad. Now I'm not there anymore, thank God, but I understand. So can you kind of share a little bit more about the credit score?
Okay, well, once you establish credit, you are defined here by the 3 credit reporting agencies. And I think most of your viewers know that it's Equifax,
yes,
TransUnion, and Experian. Okay. Credit scores, or FICO scores, as we like to call it, can range from 300, which is on the very, very low end, and 850, which is on the very, very high end. Okay. If you have a credit score of 580 or less, then lenders deem you as a risky borrower.
Okay.
All right. If you have a fair credit score between 580 and 669, you get what we call not favorable terms.
Yes. Okay.
All right. Okay. Then we have what we call the good category, from 760 to 739. That's, around or just above the national average. Okay. Good. Okay. Then we have the 2 higher standards. The very good would be from 740 to 799. And that basically lenders said that you're likely to pay off the loan.
Yes. And
then, of course, you have the exceptional from 800 to 850. You get all the competitive rates, and you basically call the shots.
There you go.
And you call the shots. So most of America is in that fair to good category. Now, I would say about 55%. Then the others are in either that low end or that high end. Okay. Low end meaning below 669, high end meaning above 740 to 850. Okay. So, but we talk about managing your yes, your credit, but before you do that, you got to understand your credit.
That's right.
And we're here to teach here, my brother. We're here to teach.
Sir.
So if I can take some time to teach you.
No, go ahead on and teach us. Teach us. We gotta go. Teach us.
Typically, you got 3 types of credit. You have the revolving credit. That's basically your credit cards. And users are given a credit limit. That's what we call your revolving credit. Okay. We have the installment credit. And that type of credit is usually in the form of a loan. Student loan, car loan, and mortgages. Okay. And then we have the 3rd type of credit, what we call a service credit. And that describes contracts you'll enter with service providers such as cell phone plans and electric bills. So those are the 3 types of credit that most individuals fall under. Okay, so let me ask this. As you're teaching, because I don't think a lot of people realize this. I know I didn't realize it when I had horrible credit, right? But even apartment complexes, if I'm understanding correctly now, are actually looking at your credit, your employment opportunities. Is that still true today? That's still true today, because they want to see your credit worthiness. That's the key word, credit worthiness. So apartment complexes, and I mentioned employers, but as well, especially if you're in the financial services arena. Yes. They're going to really look at your credit and credit scores and things of that. If you're getting a government job, state job, or something in the financial services arena. So the credit worthiness is still there, and it will always be.
And you say credit worthiness. A lot of, as I like to say, a lot of people that that's you know, our family, as I call the audience, my family. So a lot of the family members know. Once upon a time, I was a police officer, but a lot of people didn't realize that credit stopped a lot of people literally from getting hired on a police department. A lot of people didn't know that, and some people say, "Well, Stanley, why?" I mean, that don't have anything. Yes, it does, because you can compromise someone with paying off this, or I'll give you this for this, and so on and so forth. So it is very, very important. But how do someone with bad credit kind of start to move that up?
Well, that's a good question, Brother Stanley. I highlighted 4 different categories where you can build your credit.
Okay. Okay.
Let's say if you have marginal credit or bad credit or whatever the case may be, you can become an authorized user on a trusted family member or friend's account. Now,
wow, okay.
let me underscore that. Trusted family member or friend.
Yeah.
Okay. You want to make sure that they're paying their bills, but that's one
right.
way that you can increase, you know, your credit score by jumping on there as an authorized user. Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Another way, if you have, let's say, not so worthy credit, is trying to get a secured credit card.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah. Secured credit card. Now, I know we offer them at the credit union, and most banks and credit unions offers what they call secured credit cards. And the way that actually works is that you would actually have to put down a deposit. Okay. And if you default on that particular loan off that credit card, they can use that deposit to cover that. Yes. Typically, a secured credit card is no more than $1,000. It's typically like $500, maybe $1,000. But if you use that card and pay on it, you can start to rebuild your credit by using a secured credit card. Right. A lot of your listening audience may not know, but you can try a credit builder loan, or get a credit builder loan. And the way that works,
talk to us about that.
Okay. That's where lenders hold the money you pay in an account until the full amount is repaid, then release it back to you. Okay. All right. And that way you can start building your credit score up again, or your credit portfolio. Yeah. Okay. Now, the last one I really like, everyone has heard of Experian. One of the 3, okay. They have a program. If you go to Experian.com/boost, that's Experian.com/boost. You go in there, you place your information in the system, and you can get credit now for paying your utilities. Oh, okay. Right. Right, because you know we all have a cell phone now, right, Brother Stanley? That's right. So we want to keep that on, right? So we have a lot of individuals now who will pay the cell phone before they pay anything else, right? That's correct. Yes. Right, right. So now you can get credit for on-time payments by paying your utilities and your cell phone. It's called Experian.com/boost.
That's good. I don't think a lot of people knew that. But I think that would help a lot of people, because if you're paying something every single month, you're showing that you have the capability of doing that. So I think that is good, man. I'm loving this. I'm taking a whole bunch of notes just in case you didn't know.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm taking a whole bunch of notes.
Hey, man, that's what we want, you know, your audience to actually do too. Now we talk about managing your credit. But like I said, we have to understand how the credit and the credit companies judge your credit.
That's where we were going. That's what I want to get into.
We're getting to the meat and potatoes of it now. Okay. Yes, sir. So now here's the way it works. You like apple pie, don't you, Stanley?
I sure do. I sure do.
Okay, this is an apple pie with 5 slices.
Okay.
Okay. Apple pie with 5 slices. Okay. The first slice in judging your credit and looking at your credit, I should say, is your payment history. Yeah. That's worth 35% of your credit portfolio. Okay. Now, when we say if you're missing payments, If you're behind on payments, that's gonna be a ding on your credit. Okay. All right. If you're making less than the minimum due, that's gonna be a ding on your credit.
That's right.
Understand that. Also, too, with the payment history, a lot of people say, well, I can't, remember this, that, and the other. Let's go back to that cell phone. We all got a cell phone, right?
That's right.
Right. So you can put it in your calendar 3 to 5 days when your payments are due.
That's correct.
Okay. A lot of people don't like to use or don't want to give out banking information where it's automatically extracted and things of that nature. They don't want to do that. So if you want to handle it yourself, as opposed to it being deducted out your checking account for your payments, you can use your phone your cellular phone to remind yourself. But payment history is 35% of the pie. All
right, 35% payment.
35% of your pie. All right, you ready for the next slice, Brother Stanley?
Yes, sir.
30% is the credit utilization ratio.
Oh, utilization. Okay.
Utilization. Okay, let me explain that. That's 30%. Okay. Let me give you an example. You have a credit card, Brother Stanley, with a $2,500 balance on it. Okay.
Yes.
Your credit limit is $5,000.
Okay.
Okay. Then you have another credit card with no balance on there, and your credit limit is $5,000.
Right.
Follow me on this?
Yes.
So what you're going to do, is take the 2,500 and divide that by 10,000. You follow me?
Okay. Yep.
That's 25%.
Okay.
Lenders like to see the ratio under 30%.
That's the question. Yes.
Right.
Okay.
Right. Now, but here's what you've done, Stanley. You made a mistake. You decide to close that second card because you don't have a balance on it.
Yes.
Okay. So now you've closed that card. But now you're dividing 2,500 into 5,000. That's 50%. So now you're over your credit utilization. So what I try to tell everyone here is try to keep the cards open if you can.
Yeah.
Keep the cards open. That way you'll improve your credit utilization ratio. That's the simplest way I can.
Man, you know what? You just answered a question I was sharing with one of my my cousins. I was just sharing with him, right? But you broke it down even more simpler than I ever could. That's why I had to talk to the guru yourself.
Right. So now, as you can see, the payment history and the credit utilization ratio is 65% of your credit report. Yes. Now here we come with the other piece, the other 15%. That's the length of your credit history. Okay. How long has the account been aged? How long have you had the account? That's 15% of the pie. Okay. So they look, the longer that you've had and paid on it will aid and assist you as far as strengthening your credit score.
That's right.
Okay. So now you're at 80% of the pie. Got 2 more slices left, right?
And it's good too.
Right. All right. The next one is the new credit. Okay. That's the new, we talk about hard inquiries.
Yes.
You try to avoid hard inquiries. You apply for a credit card, you apply for a department store card or whatever you apply for, or you may just be going in there just to see or whatever. That's a hard inquiry. Okay. That's worth 10%. Now, hard inquiries stay on your credit report for 2 years, typically 2 years.
I see why you want to avoid those.
Right, exactly. You want to avoid the hard inquiries, okay? And the last piece, just the last piece of pie, it's worth 10%, types of credit used. So they're going to look at the revolving credit. Do you have revolving credit? Do you have a service credit? Do you have an installment? So they look at the mixture of it as well. And when you add all of that up, that's how you come up with a credit score.
So if you're good at making sure you pay on time and you're not, for your credit utilization, that you're not literally having, all kind of crazy stuff going on.
Right.
You're not closing, you get your card and then you close it. then you are actually improving your credit.
Right, exactly. There you go. Also, too, a lot of people ask, well, what's the ideal number of cards that a person should have?
Yeah.
Credit cards. That's dependent. You have some individuals with 5 or 6, if they, are financially responsible. But the average number of cards that most Americans have, I should say, is about 4. I would say ideally you need 2 or 3.
Okay, about
Yeah.
2 or 3, and
Right,
then obviously make sure you keep the credit utilization in check.
There you go. There you go. There you
and
go.
then that will help out. Yeah,
Right.
that I think that's important for a lot of people. See, when I was at Southern, I got that card, and I just thought it was free money, and
Right.
and just with that. But eventually, you start to understand. You clean all of those things up. Speaking of that, is there a way legally, properly, that you can actually clean up your credit?
Well, let me just explain that to you, because the majority of my job responsibilities is answering disputes.
Okay.
Okay. It's no magic wand to it. A lot of people. Now, let me just kind of break it down a little bit.
Okay.
Stanley, you driving around on 85 and or 285 for your viewing audience or listening audience that don't know, that's in Atlanta. And you see that sign, credit repair, and you see that phone number, $300.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you don't know who you're paying. Okay. You call the number, you've given them your social security number, your name, your date of birth, all your information, your addresses and everything. Okay.
Right.
They dispute everything on the credit report and it gives you a false sense of hope that your credit score is going up. Okay. They send that to really the 3 reporting agencies, TransUnion, Equifax, and Experian.
Okay.
But who answers it are the actual lenders. The credit reporting agencies are just the caretakers of your credit file. Okay. So that will come to me or our department or my department. Okay. Right. We would answer those because, again, just to be honest with you, we have the same people, the same companies. You have these people, they pull these templates off the internet. You're in pursuant and all these big words and everything to try to, assist you in improving your score. And they're looking for you to make a mistake because you have 45 days to answer that inquiry.
Right.
There are companies, legitimate companies, but you need to do your due diligence as well, that assist people if you legitimately think it's an error, if it's done fraudulently, if it's done, without with someone else's social security number, things of that nature.
Yes.
But there are companies out there that legitimately try to assist you, but there's individuals out there too, just there to take your money as well as your information.
Yes, I agree with that. I think you said it best in the research that I've done myself personally. There are laws to this. And a lot of people, they don't realize if they don't follow the law, you can get into a whole bunch of trouble.
Yeah, you can.
From that standpoint. One other thing I want to ask in that same vein, before I switch over into the business side, is I know some people talk about opening a double or an additional tax side or having another social security number or another credit file or something to that effect. I don't really know all of the details or even the proper terminology to it, but is that a such thing where you can have a different social security number or something?
Yeah, you're not supposed to have, but the government gave you one social security number.
Yeah.
So you can kind of answer that yourself. So if you're getting another social security number, that's a federal offense. Yeah. That's something that obviously that should not be done, but it is. A lot of individuals try to change their identity for a fresh start. And, that's something that, obviously, I wouldn't recommend doing. But like I said, it's out there, especially now when we're in a pandemic. What we found out here these last, 22 months or so since the pandemic, we had a lot of fraudulent activity.
Yeah.
And we have a lot of individuals.
Yeah, I've asked some of my friends, they just ask for some, some questions or whatever. And sometimes people are just curious, like, Stanley, ask him, is this true? Can people do this? I told him, based on my personal law enforcement experience, that's illegal. I said,
Right.
but I will ask him, just because you guys ask, I want to make sure I ask
Right.
publicly. But I said, based on me, I wouldn't touch that with a 30-foot pole.
Right, exactly. And then again, eventually it may take some time because most financial services, banks, credit union, they have a fraud department, and we work very closely with our local police jurisdictions. And several times throughout the course of my career, I had to put warrants out.
Yeah.
Once we actually do all our due diligence, all our investigations and things of that nature, sometimes because we're located in Gwinnett County, they'll come to us and we have to release certain information. And something we don't like to do, but hey, it's a part of our job,
Yeah.
So
I wanted to put that out there, publicly for people so they can feel comfortable understanding that we're not just here to give them a smoking pie in the sky, but understanding that we don't want anybody to get in trouble or do anything adversely to affect their livelihood or affect them even being locked up. So, make sure, guys, family that's listening, you do your due diligence. Don't do anything crazy. If you feel it, as one of my friends said, if you feel it in your shanana and you feel it deep down, just don't do it. Just it's better to not do it than to try to do something and then you get caught up into some foolishness. So just don't do it. All right. So enough of that. I don't want people the energy to go down. So enough of that. So now let's talk on the business side. Let's get to the good on the business side. A lot of times I've noticed friends, family, they do their, what is the LLC or Inc. or S.
Right.
How is this credit for business now?
Well,
Darryl,
the way that works is that it's separated. You have your personal credit and your business credit.
Okay.
And the personal credit is basically it's your individual name, social security number, date of birth, address, and other pertinent information about yourself.
Okay.
The business side of it is the business financial history, and it's typically tied to an EIN number.
Okay.
Right. So basically, it's separated. Although that person may be under the name of the business, if it's tied to the EIN number, it's listed under the business category as well, different, I should say, than the personal.
Okay. All right. Excellent. Now, is there a way that I can build the business credit?
Yes. One of the ways here, and because it's been a while since I've done this here, you can build the business credit by using the same measures, some of the same measures, because credit is credit. It's all under one umbrella. Okay. So you can use some of the same philosophies that you can perhaps get business loans and other loans and things of that nature in another person's name to actually, strengthen that particular business up so you can pay off any other debts that you had for the prior business. So it's a little different, but it's still the same philosophy.
Okay. And I know a lot of people like to throw this name around and to be important, Dun & Bradstreet. Can you share a little bit about what's Dun & Bradstreet and how does that work?
Well, Dun & Bradstreet is a worldwide company, I believe. It's they offer information on commercial credit, okay, as well as on businesses. They actually I think, harbor over 100 million businesses and files. So if you want to know something about a particular business, Dun & Bradstreet is the one to go to, not only in the United States, but worldwide as well.
That's excellent. That's excellent to know. What, Daryl, do you see that most people are failing at in terms of the credit?
I would say paying the bills on time. Now, you know, that's, you know, not prioritizing and you know, paying their bills late. You know, late payments, especially on mortgage payments, can drop your credit score down 100 points.
Wow.
Yes, at least 100 points because of the loan amount. Paying card notes, we've had a lot of repossessions during this. You know, what I tell people, if you're having trouble, always speak to your lender.
Okay.
Work something out. When we started the pandemic in March of 2020, we set up programs specifically. We did deferrals, we did extensions, we did modifications to 8 hours, all of our members out as much as possible so it won't be a ding on their credit report. Now, the government provided certain things as far as student loans goes. There was a moratorium on that. I believe it was on mortgages as well. Okay. But if you're having trouble, you know, you need to reach out to your lender, because there were programs set aside. I've gotten so many calls from members say, hey, thank you. You know, I didn't want this to affect my credit. I didn't want to lose my car. I didn't want to get behind. I didn't want my credit score to go down. And, you know, they were extremely grateful for all the modifications that we did throughout, you know, and we're still doing them too as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
No, that's good. Let me ask this. I know the laws changed. I think it was like 2011, 2010, somewhere back then, about the filing bankruptcy and all of those things. How has that literally affected people's credit? How long does it stay on your credit history and all of those good things? Because I understand the pandemic has put a lot of people in some unfortunate adverse times and situations. So can you speak on that?
Yeah, typically if you file for Chapter 7, I think it stays on there. I'm not the bankruptcy guru. We have a different department that actually handles. That's another program, by the way.
Okay.
But typically it stays on your credit anywhere from 7 to 10 years.
Okay.
You know, a lot of people who are file bankruptcy say, well, I can't pay the bankruptcy fee. I don't know if you know this, and most of your listeners know that, but you can file without paying a fee. Right. Eligible filers who fall under a certain umbrella of less than 100% of the poverty level or something like that can petition the bankruptcy judge to fill out the paperwork where they don't have to come up with $500 or $1,000 or whatever that may be.
Wow.
Right.
Wow.
Yeah. So that could be helpful, especially if you're indigent, if you don't have the money to file for bankruptcy. But yeah, bankruptcy can stay on your credit anywhere from 7 to 10 years, and it can hurt your credit adversely. You know, I used to deal with student loans. You know, student loan, you don't want those to go into default. I'll tell you that, brother Stanley.
Yes, I was coming to that one.
They stay there. You know, they stay there. They don't, you know, they stay there until it's actually out of federal default. You know, but there are programs now, and I know I'm venturing off on certain things here. I don't know if you know here, but you can, if you have a student loan, let's say it's $100,000 and you go to dental school, if you work in an area that's extremely poor or indigent, and you work there for 3 or 4 years because you're giving back to the community. Yeah. You know, somewhere in, let's say, Evergreen, Alabama, that's in Connecticut County. That's, you know, kind of a poor area here. I'm just using, I pick it on Evergreen, but you can have that loan expunged because you're giving back.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
Also, if you work for a nonprofit for 3 or 4 years, you can have that loan dismissed as well. So it's ways to get rid of the student loan.
Man, that's amazing. That just that in and of itself is worth the is worth the podcast. I mean,
Right.
I know a lot of people when I converse with them, first thing they talk about is, man, my student loan, man, my student loan, man, my student loan, man, my student loan. And now you share some information with them to empower them that they may be able to, what is getting removed or reduced or whatever it is.
Right.
That's powerful.
And it's a big issue now. I'm gonna show you our fraternity brother. At Morehouse, he paid off the student loans for the graduating class, I believe, 2019. I don't know if you remember that or not.
That's correct. Mm-hmm.
Right. That's a big deal now. You hear more and more graduates are getting their loans paid out by philanthropists, or just the institution is removing, because you don't want to go in society with those heavy debts.
Yes.
And so they say, hey, we're gonna, you graduate here, we're gonna do that before you even go into the working world. But it's different ways that you can pay it. Those are just, two of the possible ways.
Yeah, I think he the one that started paying the entire class off. I know some others have been paying off,
Right. He paid the entire class. Brother Smith, I think, Robert.
Yep, Robert Smith. That's absolutely
right. He
correct.
paid the entire 20, I believe it's the 2018 or 2019 class. And there was a big story, and it was a trend too as well. Then the next year we move into a pandemic as well. So as you can see, the president or our federal government, realizes that it's a problem with student loans. So he just say, hey, I'm going to stop, I'm going to have a moratorium on this, or I'm going to extend this out as well.
Yeah. I think that was a powerful thing. And you're correct. It's Brother Robert Smith. That I remember the year, but it was at Morehouse. He paid off everybody. He structured a grant, submitted the paperwork, and everybody, loans were paid off. I think it was just, I mean, we don't need no other graduation gift, but that one.
That's true, brother.
So that was good. So I wanna open the floor up for you, brother. Is there anything that you want to empower the family with? Is there anything that you want to share with the family that people are either making mistakes with, or they're doing great with, or something that you want to share with them to leave them with before we actually roll on out of here on the podcast, with something that you want to share?
Well, it's just a couple of things. Make sure you pay your bills on time. Okay. Very important, because that's part of the payment history we talked about, Brother Stanley.
That's right.
Make sure you keep your credit utilization ratio down below 30%. Okay. 10 or 15% is ideal.
Okay.
Okay. Watch your hard inquiries. You just, watch the number of credit cards that you have, if you're not responsible with it. But it's a quote that I want to leave your viewers with,
yes, sir,
your listeners with, and we use it in the credit union all the time. Your credit score could determine your quality of life.
That's good. Say that again. Say that again.
Your credit score could determine your quality of life. Because if you have an excellent credit score, you're getting more competitive rates, things of that nature. If you have a poor credit score, you're paying more for everything. Yes. You're denying yourself possibly employment. You're paying higher interest rates. You're paying more for that car. So that credit score could determine your quality of life.
Yes.
That's what I want to leave my listeners with.
Man, listen, that was great. One last thing that I do, brother, with all of the guests. One last thing, good brother.
What's that, man?
What I do with all of the guests. So as you heard at the very beginning, we I gave my New Orleans sound, as I like to say it, on my New Orleans call and all of those good things. So I asked all of my listeners and all of my guests to join me in at the end. So if you won't mind, follow me and let me hear your New Orleans sound. So I'm gonna do it first, and then you do it behind me. You ready?
Yeah.
Wah!
Why?
There you go, good brother.
There you go. Hey, you know, it is one song that I went to Alabama State. But you know, we played one song that we stole from you. It's called "Do What You Want."
That's right. Do what you want, baby. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You know how we do it. So listen, brother Darryl Craig. Well, audience, just so y'all know, I call him brother Darryl Craig because that's my fraternity brother. We've been knowing each other for a minute. We're in the same chapter. We continue to empower people all around our city and our county. Great, great guy, not just on credit, but just as a human being. So, Darryl, thank you so much, brother.
It's been my pleasure. And once again, I want to thank you for the invitation. I hope I've dropped some knowledge on your listening and viewing audience. And again, thank you for the invitation.
Now, I appreciate it, brother. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Stay safe out there in those streets. Corona, what we on? Omicron now?
Omicron, right.
Yeah. I wish they could suspend Delta and Omicron. Good Lord.
I know, right?
All right, guys. So listen, we're about to roll on out of here. Brother Darryl Craig have dropped some powerful information and knowledge with you guys. If y'all want to get in touch with brother Darryl Craig, shoot us an email to the actual our Gmail at letstalkwithstanleyd@gmail.com. Shoot us an email. I'll make sure I get the request and your questions over to brother Craig so we can get those answered for you. All right. So it's LETSTALKWITHSTANLEY, D as in David, @gmail.com. That's our email. If you want to be on the show, if you think somebody that will be a great guest, go ahead on and shoot me a quick message. We'll go ahead and take a look at it, review it, and go from there. Follow us on all of the social media platforms. Every last one of them, we're out there, we're doing our thing, and all of them are under Let's Talk with Stanley Doucette. Go to my YouTube channel, subscribe, share, like, view, all of those good things, and we're out there. So with that being said, guys, y'all know how we do it. Brother Craig, thank you, brother. We're about to take it on the street now, brother. Let's go. Y'all have a great and powerful evening. Let's go.